Welcome back to another Earnings All-Star video. And this week, it really is an all-star video because I'm bringing you 4 stocks that have perfect 5-year records and one with just one miss. That is very difficult to do in any environment, but these companies are doing it. And it's also a hot week for AI. AI was hot last week when we had all the hyperscalers and the Mag 4, as I like to call them, reporting earnings, and Apple. We shouldn't leave Apple out. But now the benefits of all that spending, over $700 billion in spending just this year alone, is going to trickle down to these other companies that are the AI infrastructure companies. So you want to be tuned into any of those this week. And there are about a dozen reporting. So be sure to tune into those. But I'm covering some AI and some other companies that just have these outstanding records today. And out of the 1,200 stocks reporting this week, yes, over 1,200 stocks, these are some of the best. So let's dive right in. The first one is an AI stock, and it is AMD. Advanced Micro Devices. You can see it's a Zacks number 2 rank right now. And you can see from the chart, we have a big breakout. Finally, we're getting the breakout everybody thought would happen with AMD, and rightfully so. No misses in 5 years. What a track record. But even throughout all that period, people were still doubters until now. And then look at the earnings growth here. Really nice jump in the earnings. Year to date, these shares are up 68%, but most people would say this chart is justified. And we'll see. We'll see when they report earnings. I'm expecting, of course, another beat here, but guidance is going to be the call. So that's Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, on the AI revolution side on the chips. Then we're going to get another AI stock. I would say this is in the infrastructure. Arista Networks, also a number 2, as you can see here. ANET is this ticker, and another outstanding chart. No misses in the 5 years, as I promised at the top of this video, and great earnings surprise growth there as well. So this stock is on the cloud for the data center side, and you can really see how the announcement of all this spending is going to help this stock. And we'll see if it actually does get this earnings growth as we move forward. But just a beautiful chart, and now breaking out to new highs. So that's Arista Networks, ANET. Now we're going to switch over from the AI side and on the tech side to Tapestry, also a number 2 ranked stock. This is the one with just one earnings miss back here in 2003, just 1%, however. So we can forgive that. It's got an outstanding record. And this is a big beat here last quarter. They definitely surprised. Everybody wasn't sure what was happening with tariffs and the consumer, but 22% surprise there. Remember, Tapestry is formerly Coach, but they have Kate Spade and Stuart Weitzman as well. These are all very popular brands. And you can see earnings up and to the right as well with Tapestry. So it's not just the earnings surprise that makes them an all-star. They also have earnings growth now expected, and pretty big growth as well. So Tapestry back in the spotlight near its all-time highs, and we'll see if they can do it again. So that's Tapestry, TPR. Then we're switching back over to technology with Skyworks Solutions, but this chart is a reminder. It's a Zacks number 3, as you can see, that even with a perfect earnings surprise track record, it doesn't mean the stock isn't going to go the other way, because the beat isn't everything. And these downward lines here for the earnings indicate the real story and why this stock is on the decline here, but it looks like maybe it's finally bottomed here as we're starting to get a little bit of a rise in the shares finally. But this earnings report is going to be important to see if these earnings are finally going to turn around. We see a little bit in 2027 here over 2026, but 2026 is still on the decline from 2025 here. So we still have falling earnings, and then ultimately the stock will hit the bottom and rebound. Whether or not this is it or not, we will see. It has had a fake bottom here after Liberation Day in 2025, and it did get the boost, but then retraced back down. So again, we will see. But again, just having the perfect track record doesn't mean that you're going to have the outstanding chart. So this is a good lesson for all of you who always argue with me on Stock Twits that, Tracy, it beat. Why is the shares going down? Because it's about the actual earnings and what's going on with those. You want them going in the other direction, like we just saw with Tapestry, not this direction with Skyworks Solutions. But eventually it will hit those lows, and we'll see if maybe there's a buying opportunity there when the earnings do turn. So Skyworks Solutions, SWKS. And then on a brighter note, we're going to turn back to another company with a perfect record. I've talked about them before, Howmet Aerospace on the aerospace side. It's a number 3 as well, but this chart looks a lot like the other beginning 3 that we talked about. It's got the perfect record, which is just a sight to behold. And then look at that earnings growth up and to the right. You see maybe a little bit of cuts here in 2027 recently, but it's still got the big growth. And just out of curiosity, I'm going to look at the detailed estimates to see how much Howmet is going to have for this year. So some very nice, and this is actually indicating that little bit of a decline I was mentioning. You can see the one estimate was cut in the last 30 days for 2027. So that's brought it down just slightly, only 5 cents on the consensus, but it's enough to show up in the chart. But still outstanding earnings growth as the analysts get in line with what they think is going to happen for next year. Look at this year, 21.2%, and then still another 19.3% for next year. Still a high PE. You're buying the growth with this one at 52 times forward earnings. So it really does have to bring it this week to continue on, but it's been bringing it this entire time. Let's look at the chart once again, bringing it up on the quote page. It is a sight to behold here. That's Howmet Aerospace, ticker HWM. It might not be the one that's on your radar this week because Advanced Micro Devices might be the one, or Arista Networks, but Howmet has been a beauty, trading near their all-time high as well, as many of these are, except Skyworks. So these are the top earnings all-stars for this week. It's always a pleasure to look at charts like this. I'll be bringing more of the charts this week on my Twitter feed, Blue Sky feed, Stock Twits feed, because it is a very busy week. Last week was the busiest for the S&P 500, but we're getting a lot of names this week, over 1,200 reporting. And again, those AI infrastructure stocks are reporting this week, like Eaton on the cooling side. So we're getting cooling, we're getting construction, we're getting the consulting firms on, electrical power generation side. We're getting them all. I'll be tweeting out those charts. So be sure to join me just under my name at Tracy Reinick on any of those platforms, and get all of our videos here on YouTube because that's the place to be. Leave us a comment. I do read the comments, like and subscribe. And I will see you again next week with some more earnings charts.